There are things that men are afraid of but rarely dare to say. These fears are not obvious but hidden deep inside their silence and caution. Have you ever wondered what makes men feel most scared when they are with their women? Let's explore 7 things that men are extremely afraid of in women, which very few people dare to admit. These things can determine the success or failure of a relationship. You will be surprised to know what they are. 1. I think men are afraid of many things in women, but the scariest thing for them is the silence and indifference of their wives. When I was young, I used to think that tears were a powerful way to express emotions, that just by crying men would realize the pain and try to soothe it. But now, as an adult, I understand that there are moments when tears are no longer effective. A woman's silence is not simply not speaking, but an expression of indifference and indifference. When there is no longer anger or crying, only silence, men often fall into a state of confusion, not knowing what to do to approach the woman's heart. That is a sign that feelings have gradually cooled and the woman no longer wants to fight for the relationship. Silence is even more frightening because it is gentle but full of danger, signaling that feelings have faded. In that silence, men feel out of control and seem unable to do anything to change. Sometimes silence is the way women show that they have reached their limits. And when women are silent, that is when men need to be really worried. 2. I understand that men are often very sensitive to criticism, especially when it comes to their ability to be fathers, husbands, or careers. They can feel insecure and hurt when they receive criticism from others. It seems like criticism is a burden that they cannot bear easily. I have found that if we are not careful, our words can make them feel like they are failing. When men are criticized about their ability to be fathers, they can worry that they are not good enough for their children. This can lead to feelings of helplessness and psychological pressure. Similarly, when they feel criticized about their role as husbands, they can doubt themselves and the relationship. In terms of career, men often put a lot of pressure on themselves to succeed, and criticism can make them feel like all their efforts are in vain. Therefore, I often try to be gentle and tactful when giving opinions or comments. A sincere advice, but not critical, is more easily received. We need to create a safe space for them to express themselves without fear of being judged. This will not only help them grow but also strengthen our relationship. I believe that respect and understanding will help both of us feel happier in life. I always remind myself that sincere and positive communication will help build a stronger relationship. In this way, we can overcome challenges together and create a happy family. 3. Sometimes I feel that cruelty in love is what men fear the most. When I was young, I was a gentle woman, always loving and caring. I believed that sincere feelings could solve all problems. But when I was hurt too much, my heart could no longer keep its softness. I became hard and cold. Men do not expect that when women endure too much pain, they can become cruel. That cruelty does not come from malice, but from deep wounds. Men are often surprised to see their once gentle woman change, become decisive, and no longer want to save the relationship. They do not think that a gentle woman can turn into stone, but that happens when tolerance has reached its limit. Men fear cruelty not only because it is sudden, but because it signals that love is dead. When a woman becomes hard, they know that any attempt to mend it is too late. That makes them really scared, because once a woman's heart is closed, they will no longer have any chance to come back. 4. I went through a period where I just wanted to talk a lot without listening. When I was young, I often thought that expressing my feelings continuously was the best way to connect in marriage. I talked a lot, shared everything I thought, without realizing that my husband also needed space to express. Sometimes I was so engrossed in my story that I forgot that he needed to be listened to and understood. Men don't always talk a lot, but when they want to share, they need to be truly listened to. The fact that I only talked without listening made my husband gradually become silent, feeling that he was not cared for. Over time, I have learned that good communication is when both have the opportunity to talk and listen. I started listening to him more, to feel and understand what he didn't say. Sincere listening helps us get closer and understand each other better, creating balance and happiness in the relationship. 5. Complicated. That's a word I've heard many times from men. They often say that women are difficult to understand, that we change too quickly and are unpredictable. Men often feel confused by the constant changes in women's emotions. I used to be like that too. Sometimes in 1 minute I want this, but after just a few moments I change my mind and want something completely different. That sudden change makes men feel confused, not knowing how to please or meet our needs. Men often say that they can't keep up with women's thinking, and this makes them feel confused. There are times when I want to be cared for and loved, but in the blink of an eye, I want independence and distance. This constant change creates a feeling of awkwardness for men because they do not know what to do. Women are often complicated in that we do not immediately express what we want. Sometimes we ourselves do not know what makes us happy. Men try to understand, but this seems beyond their ability. And I understand that this complexity is one of the things that makes men both love and fear in a relationship. 6. Jealousy and selfishness are also a big problem. I understand that in marriage love is not enough, but understanding and tolerance are also needed. Men always value tolerance and forgiveness in women. However, when I let jealousy and selfishness take over, it not only hurts the relationship but also creates distance between me and my husband. I remember there were times when I showed selfishness, wanted to control and possess my husband too much. At those times, I could clearly see the discomfort and anxiety in his eyes. Men do not want to be bound by the feeling of being forced or limited. They need free space, trust from their partner, instead of being pushed into a corner by unreasonable demands and pressures. When selfishness appears, it not only makes my husband feel uncomfortable, but also makes him feel that this love is no longer about sharing and empathy. Men are ready to leave if they feel oppressed by their wives' selfishness because they seek peace in the relationship, not control. Realizing this, I have learned to restrain myself, to put tolerance and understanding above all. I understand that a lasting relationship is built on respect, love, and generosity from both sides. Instead of letting selfishness damage the relationship, I choose to trust my husband, give him his own space, and we both feel more comfortable building a life together. 7. Finally, what I think men fear the most is blind jealousy. I have experienced jealousy, doubting my husband's every move, thinking that doubt would help me keep him by my side. The times he came home late, the phone calls from unknown sources, all made me alert and worried. I thought that as long as I controlled everything, I would be able to preserve love and protect my marriage. But gradually I realized that jealousy is not the way to preserve love, but on the contrary, it is destroying our relationship day by day. My doubt and control did not make my husband feel more loved, but made him feel suffocated, imprisoned in a relationship without freedom. Men, when put in such a situation, will gradually lose the feeling of being respected and loved. They will feel controlled rather than trusted. I have learned that love requires mutual trust, freedom for each person to have their own space and feel safe in the relationship. Jealousy only makes love die, hurting both people. I realize that if a relationship is based on suspicion, it will never last. True love is when we give trust, instead of imprisoning the person we love with jealousy and control. Blind jealousy not only breaks trust, but also pushes the distance between two people. And this is what men fear the most, because when love is no longer built on trust, it will soon fall apart. Now, I understand that trust is the strongest foundation of a relationship, and without it, love is just a burden, making both people suffer. Women my age have learned that what men fear most is not explosive emotions or heated arguments. In fact, what makes them feel more anxious and insecure is the coldness, silence, and complexity of a woman's heart that they cannot easily predict. When we become silent, men may not know what we are thinking, which makes them feel insecure. They cannot guess our feelings or whether we still love them. Silence can sometimes be powerful. It is a reminder that feelings are not always easy to understand. In life, I have also realized that expressing true emotions can make men feel confused. They are used to clear reactions, but when faced with emotional complexity, they may find it difficult to find a way out. Coldness can be a way to protect yourself, but it can also cause unnecessary misunderstandings. I think that in a relationship, it is important to have open and sincere communication. We should show them that our feelings also need to be shared, but not necessarily expressed through anger or strong reactions. I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to the sharing in today's video. If you have any opinions or personal stories to share, don't hesitate to leave a comment below so we can discuss them together. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next useful videos. Wishing you a happy and fulfilling married life, where you both feel understood and appreciated. See you in the next video. Bye.